Because Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt is coming out on the 7th, I thought I'd give a quick recap of the lore, the things we know about this city that it's in, Prague, and also potentially some of the characters that we're going to meet. It's obviously a battle royale, so it's not super heavy on the lore, but it is an interesting city. So let's begin. For those of you who have never encountered Vampire the Masquerade before this game, I'm going to give an overview of some of the simple stuff that you might not have encountered before. The premise of the game is that you, an agent of the Camarilla, an ancient and storied sect of vampires who control the city, are trying to root out the Anarchs. That's all the other players. The Anarchs are represented by all of those vampires who are unhappy with the Camarilla's rule. And in Prague, that has become extremely unstable thanks to the work of the Entity. Now, the Entity is a new creation for Bloodhunt, and I'm very fascinated to learn more about it as we play more of the game. But at the moment, we know that the Entity are a Vatican-backed vampire hunter group who have worked with various alphabet soup like the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, all of those groups to learn more about how vampires work and how to defeat them. The fact that they're backed by the Vatican Church directly links their organization to the first Inquisition, which in this universe was partly about rooting out and destroying vampires and putting them on pyres and setting them alight, which is one of the few ways that you can for sure destroy a vampire. That brings us to the modern day, in which this second Inquisition of vampire hunters, various groups of intelligence agencies and amateurs alike, all coming together to work against the vampires that are secretly pulling strings in their secret world known as the Masquerade. Vampires have this masquerade, this rule that no mortal should know what a vampire is, to protect them from this problem. However, in this city, I'm sure you've seen the NPCs, the Entity agents, running around various parts of the city, protecting loot, protecting cool things. Yeah, didn't work out so great, clearly. And now that gives you an opportunity to go on a blood hunt. In the universe of Vampire the Masquerade, a blood hunt is just that. It is a all-out war against a person or a group to destroy and prevent them from doing whatever they're attempting to do in the city, which in this case seems like a bit of a coup. The fun thing is, the blood hunt is the one place where the vampires' rules of law become a bit more wobbly, a bit more relaxed, so that the vampires can effectively destroy the thing that they are hunting without worrying about, breaking the rules and getting the blood hunt called on themselves too much. That is one of the fun reasons why, unlike most of the time, our characters in Bloodhunt are very happily and easily able to drink other vampires. Normally, that's against the rules, and I'll get onto exactly what blood is and does in a minute. But it's called diablerie. Probably because of the diabolical consequences and ways that people think about it. In fact, not most people enjoy being eaten, which, you can never say for certain. But when you're a vampire, sucking out the soul of another vampire is not well looked upon. However, it does make you significantly stronger at the cost of becoming more vampiric and less linked to your humanity. In the game, diablerie allows you more slots for upgrades, and the upgrades that you get from drinking normal people's blood, well, I say normal, but mortal people's blood. The power-ups you get in the game from drinking people's blood includes increased melee damage, decreased cooldown times for your abilities, and healing, but they are linked to the very old idea of humors within the human body, depending on the emotion of the person that you're drinking, whether they're happy, horny, excited, sad, depressed. Any array of emotions can essentially be linked to a combination of 4 different elements. They can be linked to any of the 4 basic humors, which are choleric, melancholy, sanguine, and phlegmatic blood, and they represent all the different variations of power that you can get from a person's blood. You can actually play with this in the role-playing game, but you know, I want increased melee damage. That's not going to happen in a role-playing game. And usually for battle royale games, the thing that pushes you all together into the center to fight is not a perfect circle. It moves by streets, it moves in odd shapes and ways to force you down different routes instead of just in a flat circle. This is really cool, and I have a few ideas about exactly what this red gas is and could be derived from, but what we do know for certain right now is that the red gas is deployed by the Second Inquisition, by the entity. They have clearly a power, some sort of technology or magic that can destroy vampires and forces them into a place where they can, corner them, kill them, get rid of the vampires from the city. And I don't know where they have found this. There's plenty of things that vampires are weak to: sunlight, fire, other vampires, supernatural attacks. But I'm not exactly sure where in that arena the red gas falls. The one thing my suspicions tell me is that because of this thing known as the shadow curtain that exists in the world of darkness, if you know what that is already, maybe I'll go into it in deeper later if my suspicions are confirmed, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking it might be related to for those that do know about the lore. Now, a little bit about the city. Prague was chosen by the developers because it is a beautiful city mashed up of very old European architecture and very modern construction and culture, and it is in fact an extremely storied history. Who knew, being the current capital of the Czech Republic, and in the Vampire the Masquerade universe, it was caught in a centuries-long war between the Fleshcrafter Tzimisce clan and the Camarilla, who have had numerous rulers of the city and have been clinging on to power now for a very long time, doing dirty deals behind the scenes. That's just the kind of way that vampire society works. Fun fact, it's also the setting for Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, which is an RPG which came out ages ago. If we'll see links to the medieval portion of that game where you play as a very ancient crusader Brujah, who knows? But I would love to see it. I should probably play Redemption myself first. However, the most important event in Prague, or one of the most important events in Prague for vampires, is known as the Conclave of Prague, in which the Brujah clan very spectacularly announced their departure from the Camarilla sect by blowing the head off of one of the most important Ventru clan members in the city and probably in the entirety of Europe. Hardestat had a shotgun put under his jaw, and Brujah known as Theobel pulled the trigger, and not even old vampires are entirely immune to damage, which I think is probably part of the fun of playing a vampire, is that old and powerful, yes, invincible, immortal, not necessarily. The characters and events of modern day Prague. While the city is in turmoil, yes, and I'd love to go into detail about the environmental storytelling in the map that you play in. For instance, the cathedral's on fire. It's probably linked to the entity. There are various crash sites for helicopters and things like that. I'd love to go into detail and explore that later. But The current ruler of Prague is known as Prince Marcus. He is of Clan Ventru. They are the kings of kings, the blue bloods, the ones who are most entwined with the royalty of and CEOs and warlords of the past and present. They take control most often. And it's difficult to depose them because they have the ability to defend themselves by turning their skin as hard as marble. However, Prince Marcus is not on his own in ruling this place. He is supported by the two characters that we get to meet physically in the lobby of the game, the Elysium, a place where vampires come together and chill out and don't do any of the horrible stuff that they're not supposed to. Wink. We meet Maya and Kirill. Now, Maya is a Toreador, the Roses. They are the clan of artistes and socialites and architects. They are represented by Maya beautifully. I really love her red coat. She looks so cool. She's also been in Prague for a very long time, and she's a new character for this setting. She is characterized by Prince Marcus as being particularly disloyal. She was not present, suspiciously, for the one time when a Toreador prince of the past got the crap kicked out of him, and she wasn't there for that for some reason. But she is also a master manipulator and will send you on quests and stuff like that. Apparently she has her grip tightly on politics because she's a confidant to presidents and was also a notable force in the Velvet Revolution, a very important political event in the history of the Czech Republic. She's also the same clan as the Muses and the Sirens, which are the classes of Toreador that you get to play. They have the ability to blind people with their beauty. Stunning, I like to call it the flashbang, because they're so sexy you won't be able to see. And the Muses, who are AoE healers, and they sing so beautifully, they revive their teammates, which is pretty cool. Then we have the sheriff, the Brujah clan representative called Kirill. He keeps order. He beats the crap out of people because of his inordinate supernatural strength and speed, and probably the ability to make people poop themselves. He has pledged his fealty to Prince the Camarilla of Prague. Whereas most of the Brujah clan obviously departed notably from the Camarilla and joined the Anarchs, Kirill did not, and because he's so old and so powerful, that makes him pretty scary, even to other Brujah. Apparently, he used to be a Bohemian warrior from the 14th century, so I can definitely see the connection. Kirill is also the representative for the Brujah's classes, the Vandals and the Brutes, with their ground-pounding fist smashing and their super force punch that deflects bullets. That's very impressive. And yeah, if you want to play as a character that can kick the crap out of anyone, that's the Brujah. The Nosferatu clan, which are the horrible, ugly, corpse-like ones, don't actually have a representative character yet, so I'm interested to see where they go with that. But there is a third character that you meet in Elysium, the keeper of that place, a gangrel known as Custos, who is the person who gives you quests such as go to Old Town and find me a statue. Thanks, dude. That's the whole map. Cheers. I never found it. If you did, I want to know where it was. Let me know in the comments. I want to do those quest lines, and I want to learn more lore stuff, because apparently that's what it unlocks for you. I don't know, but it was a really annoying quest. Anyway, what we know next for the game is that it is coming into early access on September 7th, and soon they will release a new clan with probably more subclasses known as the Ventru, which is the same as the Prince. So maybe we'll even get a character model in-game for him, maybe we'll get more lore, and I cannot wait to meet you all in the battleground of Prague. Yeah, I think that's everything. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see gameplay and lore videos and vampire stuff. But until next time, thank you to my patrons. Goodbye.